You pressed play and didn't even think about it. A song came on and something shifted. Your shoulders dropped. Your jaw unclenched. Something that had been tight inside you for hours just loosened. You didn't decide to feel that. It just happened. And if someone asked you to explain why a specific arrangement of sound waves moving through air could do that to you, you probably couldn't. But the answer exists. And it is far stranger, far deeper, and far more ancient than you have ever been told. Music is not entertainment. It is not a cultural accessory. It is one of the oldest forces your brain has ever encountered. And your brain, right now, is not just listening to it. It is being changed by it. Start at the beginning. Not your beginning. The beginning. Somewhere between 40,000 and 60,000 years ago, before agriculture, before cities, before writing, your ancestors were already making music. Archaeologists have found bone flutes carved from vulture wings and mammoth ivory dating back at least 40,000 years. Researcher Nicholas Konrad at the University of Tübingen excavated these instruments from caves in southern Germany and concluded that structured musical culture predates almost every other form of symbolic human behavior we have found. Before your ancestors painted on cave walls, before they traded goods across long distances, they were sitting around fires making deliberate, organized sound. That fact should stop you cold. Music is not a modern luxury. It is an ancient biological need. And to understand why, you have to go inside the brain that was built to need it. Your brain is not one brain. It is several systems layered on top of each other over millions of years of evolution, each one older and more primitive than the last. The outermost layer, the cortex, handles language, planning, and complex thought. Beneath that is the limbic system, which handles emotion and memory. And deeper still is the brainstem, one of the oldest structures in your entire nervous system, responsible for keeping you breathing, keeping your heart beating, and scanning every moment of your existence for threats or rewards. When you hear music, all three of these systems activate simultaneously, not one at a time, all at once. Neuroscientist Daniel Levitin, author of This Is Your Brain on Music, spent years mapping what happens in the brain during musical experience. What he found was that music is one of the only stimuli on Earth that engages virtually every region of the brain at the same time. The motor cortex, the auditory cortex, the cerebellum, the hippocampus, the amygdala, and the prefrontal cortex all light up together. Nothing else does this. Not language, not visual art, not mathematics. Music is the most neurologically complete experience your brain can have. And at the center of all of it is dopamine. You have heard of dopamine. Most people think of it as the pleasure chemical, the reward signal your brain releases when something good happens. But that is only half the story. Dopamine is not just released when you get a reward. It is released when your brain predicts a reward is coming. It is a signal of anticipation, of expectation, of the delicious tension between what you know and what might happen next. Music is essentially a machine for manufacturing that tension. Think about the last song that gave you chills, that physical sensation, the goosebumps, the shiver down your spine, the sudden rush that feels almost like the edge of crying, has a name. Researchers call it Frisson. And in a landmark study published in Nature Neuroscience, neuroscientist Anne Blood and Robert Zatorre at McGill University showed that frisson is directly correlated with a massive surge of dopamine in the brain, not a small release, a flood, the same kind of neurochemical event that happens when you eat food you were craving, when you win something, when you fall in love. A song did that to you. Organized air pressure moving at specific frequencies caused your brain to release one of its most powerful chemical signals. Think about what that means. Your brain is constantly making predictions. Every fraction of a second, it is running a model of what it expects to happen next in your environment. This is not a conscious process. You are not aware of it. but your brain is obsessively predicting the next word in a sentence, the next movement of a person walking toward you, the next beat of a rhythm. And when reality matches the prediction, there is a small sense of satisfaction. When reality violates the prediction in a threatening way, there is fear. But when reality violates the prediction in a surprising but ultimately pleasing way, when the music goes somewhere you did not expect, but that feels more right than what you expected, your brain rewards you with dopamine. That is why the moment just before the drop, the moment before the chorus hits, the moment of musical anticipation feels so good. Your brain is not just hearing the music, it is playing a guessing game with the music. And when the music wins, when it surprises you in exactly the right way, you get a chemical reward. Composer and cognitive psychologist David Huron spent decades building an entire theory around this in his book, Sweet Anticipation. He argues that the pleasure of music is fundamentally the pleasure of prediction. Your brain learns the patterns of music, rhythm, harmony, melody, and uses them to generate expectations. Music then plays with those expectations, meeting them, delaying them, violating them, and resolving them. The emotional experience of music is your brain's response to how well its predictions are managed. This is why a song you have heard 100 times can still move you. Your brain knows what is coming. But the emotional memory attached to that moment, the dopamine signal that was burned in the first time the song surprised you, is still there. It fires again, every time. Now go back to those caves. Go back to the bone flutes and the firelight and the circle of early humans making organized sound together. Why would evolution preserve this? Why would a brain that needed to hunt, to navigate, to survive, dedicate so many of its resources to music? The answer may lie in what music does to groups of people. When two or more people make music together, something happens to their nervous systems that is remarkable. Their heart rates begin to synchronize. Their breathing aligns. Even their brain waves start to couple, a phenomenon researchers call neural entrainment. Neuroscientist Anirudh Patel at Tufts University has shown that the ability to synchronize with a beat, something humans do effortlessly, and that almost no other animal on Earth can do, may be uniquely tied to the evolution of language and social bonding in the human brain. Music, in other words, was social glue. It was the technology your ancestors used to synchronize bodies, nervous systems, and emotions across an entire group, to feel the same thing at the same time, to move together, to trust each other. In a world where survival depended entirely on group cooperation, on coordinated hunting, on shared defense, on collective child-rearing, a mechanism that could bind a group of humans into a synchronized emotional unit was not a luxury. It was a survival advantage, and your brain still carries that wiring. Think about that for a second. Every time you have felt something inexplicable at a concert, that strange sense of being part of something larger than yourself, of being connected to a room full of strangers, that was not sentiment. That was evolution. That was the same force that kept your ancestors alive, firing in your chest in a venue built for it. This is why music at a concert feels different from music through headphones. Your nervous system is designed to share musical experience. It is designed to feel the breathing of the person next to you slow down as the song swells. It is designed to feel the collective gasp of a room when the melody breaks. When you are at a live performance and the energy in the room is almost physical, you are not imagining it. You are experiencing millions of years of evolutionary programming, doing exactly what it was built to do. But music does not only bond you to other people, it also regulates you from the inside. And this is where it gets strange. Have you ever noticed that you instinctively reach for music when you need to feel something specific? Not to be entertained, not to pass the time, but to feel a particular way, calmer, more focused, angrier, more alive. You do this automatically, without thinking about it. And the reason you can is because your nervous system responds to music the way it responds to almost nothing else. Your autonomic nervous system, the system that controls your heart rate, your breathing, your stress hormones, your fight or flight response, is directly responsive to music. Slow tempos with regular rhythms activate your parasympathetic nervous system, the rest and digest system, the system that tells your body it is safe. Fast tempos with driving rhythms activate your sympathetic nervous system, the system that prepares you for action. This is not metaphorical, it is physiological. Music is directly editing your biology in real time. Researchers at Stanford University found that musical passages with specific rhythmic and melodic structures caused synchronization of neural activity in the regions of the brain responsible for attention and memory encoding. Music was literally helping brains sort and store information more efficiently. The researchers proposed that music, at its core, may have evolved as a way to help the brain organize its own activity, a kind of external metronome for internal processes. This is why you put music on when you need to focus, why you run faster with a beat in your ears, why surgeons have been shown to perform more accurately when listening to music they enjoy. Your brain is not just being accompanied by the music, it is being organized by it. And then there is memory. Of all the things music does, this may be the most quietly astonishing. Memory is not a single system in your brain. Different types of memories are stored in different structures. Explicit memories, facts, events, things you consciously recall, are processed through the hippocampus, but emotional memories are encoded in the amygdala. And procedural memories, how to ride a bike, how to type, live in different regions entirely. Music, uniquely, seems to access all of them at once. You have experienced this. A song comes on and you are instantly somewhere else, not vaguely, specifically. You can smell the room. You can feel the temperature. You are 17 again, or 8, or 23, and the emotion of that moment is not just remembered, it is refelt. Neuroscientist Stefan Kulsch at the University of Bergen has shown that music activates the hippocampus, the amygdala, and the prefrontal cortex simultaneously, creating a multi-layered memory retrieval that almost nothing else can match. Music gets encoded with context. The song that was playing during the most important moment of your life did not just enter your auditory cortex. It burned itself into your emotional memory, your episodic memory, and your sensory memory all at once. And every time you hear it again, all of those layers fire together. The song does not remind you of the memory. The song is the memory. It opens a door in your brain that nothing else has a key to. Sit with that for a moment. There are people in the world right now who cannot remember their own children's names, who look at their spouse of 40 years and feel nothing familiar. Alzheimer's has taken their explicit memory, the system that stores facts, faces, and language, and quietly dismantled it. But play them a song from their youth, and something happens that medicine cannot fully explain. They start to sing. Perfectly. Every word, every melody, every pause in exactly the right place. Because those songs were not stored as information. They were stored as experience, woven into the oldest, deepest layers of the brain, layers that the disease reaches last. Music gets in through a door that dementia cannot close. And now, here's the part that will change how you think about every song you have ever loved. You have always assumed that music makes you feel things, that a sad song makes you sad, that an uplifting song lifts you. But that is not quite what is happening. What music actually does is reveal what you are already feeling, the emotion that was already there, unnamed, sitting just below the surface, and gives it a shape you can finally recognize. Music does not create your emotional state. It unlocks it. It is less like a key that opens a door and more like a light switched on in a room that was always there, always full, but completely dark. That is why the same song can hit you completely differently on different days. The song has not changed. You have. And the music simply found what was already waiting. So the next time you press play without thinking about it, The next time a song comes on and something in you shifts, something loosens, something rises, you are not just listening. Your dopamine system is firing. Your predictions are being played with. Your nervous system is being regulated. Your memories are being unlocked. Your brain is synchronizing with a pattern that evolution built you to respond to across hundreds of thousands of years of human history. You pressed play and didn't even think about it. But your brain thought about it. Your brain has been thinking about it for as long as humans have existed, and it will keep responding, keep releasing, keep remembering every single time. Because music is not something that happens to you. It is something your brain was always waiting for. If this video hit you the way music does, drop a comment below with the one song that unlocks that room inside you. The one that finds what is already there. You know the one. Write the title. Write the moment it brings back, or just write the feeling. And if you want more videos that get under the surface of what it means to be human, subscribe. There is a lot more waiting for you.